I'm a great person. He was a great author. So I'm just gonna say, you know what? I'm a great man. I'm being Mark Twain.
Damn.
I talked to him.
Hype that ego up, baby. Hype that up.
Maybe Augustus Caesar too. Maybe not him.
Julius Caesar, you mean?
Probably anyone.
Wait, Augustus Caesar was a thing.
Nah, he sucked.
I don't know.
Who's a really cool person?
Oh yeah, it was Augustus
Einstein.
Octavius, but he changed his name to Caesar.
Right.
Einstein, Newton.
I think
It's all me.
I think real talk mine was Teddy Roosevelt.
I can see that. I can see that for sure.
Warmonger.
Talk soft and carry a big stick.
Nick, who are you?
That's tough. I don't know. See, that the thing is, like,
Probably just an unnamed person, like a peasant in like
Yeah.
the field and like medieval Europe.
he's still alive, but I think my like spirit being is probably like Charlie Kelly from Always Sunny. I think my mission in life might go
talking
with
the same
that.
person
That's your
back then.
spirit animal. But
It's a spirit animal
who
for sure.
guided you into this world, Nicholas?
Oh, dude, guided me into this world. I don't know.
Galileo.
You think? Dude, that's tough. I'm
You're
gonna say
a man of the
Michelangelo.
stars.
Michelangelo.
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 Inside joke. Not really that inside, but you know, whatever. But yeah, I said Michelangelo probably be my person. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty hard. I mean, I'm a gas painter. I almost painted the Sistine Chapel back in the day, but they sided with him instead. That's pretty crazy.
Probably
for
a good
sure.
choice.
I used to love art, but my art teacher in elementary school did not like my art. She told me I did art wrong. And
So
now
you
I'm an
liked her?
engineer.
You liked her because she told you your art was wrong?
I used to really like art. But she
Uh,
was like, like your art is just wrong. She used to yell at me. And she was like,
Arrington, right?
Yeah, she's gonna listen and call
Yeah, she's gonna come to your
I
house.
hope our first fan email is Mrs. Arrington, our elementary
come on.
school art teacher.
yeah, she was fine.
No, she was a great
No,
lady.
I remembered her being kind of mean, but like she was probably just stressed out dealing with all
Yeah.
these kids.
I mean, hey, it's a hard
But
job
she
teaching
also
kids.
she told a lot of like little kids that their art sucked.
And that was me. I used to want to be an artist. Now I'm an engineer.
You know
which is
what
the
though?
Opposite, I
You
think.
need someone like that. You can't have everyone telling you that your shit's good when it's not.
It's
you know?
like in Seoul when in the beginning when
Yeah.
the principal calls him out and he's like, "Oh, thanks for giving my ears a break." And that one
Right.
kid's going to the bathroom. He's like, "Hey," he's like,
Kinda
"Not
mean.
you. You're good."
kind of mean. I
No,
thought.
he's not.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of funny. Bringing back to that, I do kind of like how, as a music teacher too, he was very relatable. He reminds me of my high school music teacher a little bit.
What was that? No, I don't think TC. It's
Yeah.
good. It's a good compliment.
It's a good compliment. I mean, he's just like,
Oh, it's like saying everyone's name on this podcast. You don't get a lot of
He-
listens, I bet.
again, I don't think that anyone's gonna be able to like find TC
I know that,
based on two
I don't
initials.
even understand how that is his
You don't
nickname.
have to explain.
Yeah, don't explain it to me,
Yeah.
but I never understood that.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, he just like seemed like a really like he seemed like he made music fun, you know, as a teacher. And then obviously, I think, and I think this is like in the background of every music teacher's mind, though. I think that they all kind of wanted to be at some degree professional musician.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know?
for sure.
And honestly, too, to that point, I think Joe, like, and his character in the movie kind of does a really good job at this too. Is we see this when he is finished with his performance and he's unfulfilled. I think oftentimes we look past where we are in our lives and take it for granted. And I think obviously, I mean, being a mentor to 22, you can see it too, that he was just like kind of meant to be like a teacher, and like his path necessarily wasn't to be the star, but like he got more fulfillment. His life was more enriched from
Yeah.
benefiting others by being a positive role model. And you really see that from that whole progression of him trying to leave from being a teacher, whether it be because pay is not good enough as a teacher, which is honestly kind of like a real, I mean, they never outright say that, but pay as a teacher is not the best.
The pay as the teacher was better than going from gig to gig.
That's fair too. I mean, it's stable.
Unless you make it big, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's
Stability.
yeah.
That's what his mom wanted for him.
Right.
But honestly, 22 teaches him so much about teaching. They
Yeah.
often say who's the teacher and who's the student.
Right.
You know.
That's one of those things where it's like security, like job security, like a constant flow of money, really prevents people from like following their dreams. Like I think
Yeah.
for us, this
For
is,
sure.
like we're not gonna be making money on this podcast for like a long, long time if we ever do. And I think a lot of people would not be motivated to try something
That's
out.
not
like-
what it's about.
yeah, it's not what
Yeah,
it's about,
exactly.
But I feel like a lot of people wouldn't try this because we're like expending energy for something that's not making us any money.
Yeah.
And I think like if you're not making money, people just like do stuff that's not their dream for an easy paycheck.
Especially nowadays.
Kind of soul crushing, I think.
Yeah, because especially nowadays where everyone for the most part is going to college, everyone's kind of down the same path. I know this is something we've touched on in an episode or two before, but I feel like because everyone is doing kind of the same thing nowadays, it makes it harder to be an individual, I feel like, and to take that leap of doing something different, you know? And I think it honestly stems from because of the fact that because everyone's doing the same thing, and because everyone's doing the same thing, you have that small few who have made it big, and they make it seem so unattainable. So I think that the biggest thing, honestly, is that like because it seems so unattainable, people aren't willing to give it a shot. And I think that half of the reason why like people don't succeed or in their goals is because they haven't even tried, you know?
Exactly.
And then so many other people who do try it and they get to that first milestone, and just like Joe, they think that that's going to solve all their problems. They think that they're going to get there, and it's like, oh, wow, this is amazing now. Like, I'm whole. Like, nah, it's about falling in love with the process.
Right.
Like we said earlier. And like with this podcast, like if we make money or not, it doesn't fucking matter. But like we just put this out into the universe.
Yeah, we're just having
also
fun doing what we're doing
like
right now.
no one single moment is gonna make your life. Like it's just the consistently doing the same thing, like the moment, like doing stuff on a like daily basis what you love is what is important. Not one night of playing with what was her name?
Dorothea Williams.
Yeah. Or like related stuff like that.
And also
She's
kind of
pretty
like,
awesome. I love her.
Yeah.
Like in the movie, she's just, I don't know, she's so cool.
Definitely. Yeah, I mess with her character a lot too. She's pretty dope.
Get in that suit, Teach.
Also, I think people don't want to do stuff if like it's kind of seen out of the ordinary.
Right.
It's like, oh, why are you doing like this podcast? Like you could just be working and doing like, you know, we are working, but this just, you know.
Man, my mom's always saying to me, why don't you go get a job? Huh?
No, I hate my mom.
my old lady.
Yeah, but sometimes you just got to do what you want to do.
Yeah, honestly.
Live your life how you want to live your life. You're only here once, unless you're Joe who got second chance.
Who gets the second chance?
No, cartoon, little plot armor maybe.
Little plot armor, but you know what? It's for a good cause. It's for a good cause. Yeah, I don't know. This movie is so super interesting because I feel like honestly, like, not even story wise is it like crazy? Like, there's nothing like it's not like a crazy concept, but like it is just like really deep to like life, you know. It is, and like you guys were saying earlier, it just relates to like now and like life a lot, which I think is really the great thing about this film.
I think another reason I really liked this movie when it first came out is that it came out in like, I don't know, like late fall, midwinter of 2020.
Yeah.
So it was still like heavy. It was freezing, so we weren't going outside for that, and it was still like very heavy COVID times.
Right, seasonal depression along with COVID was kicking in.
And like when you watch that movie, like when they first go back into the bodies and Joe's in the cat, and 22's in his body. And they go out on the street, and there's just like it's like New York City, the hustle and bustle. Everybody's out, like going every which way. And it like just at the time, I was like, damn, I want to be in that.
Yeah, honestly, it was a good escape. Watching the movie, I will say that is like, especially because like you can't really leave during the winter time. You're kind of like stuck in home, especially if you're not in a warm spot. Yep. This movie for sure was like an escape. And during COVID, we were all stuck inside, so it doesn't matter if you were in a warm climate or not. Mm-hmm. It just really was. It kind of transported you outside of the time that we were living in. And for like a brief hour of watching it, I don't know, it's kind of like back to normal.
I was just sitting in my basement playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and listening to Joe Gardner play jazz.
Hell yeah. I think that's also another dope thing is that the music was phenomenal. It was just great. The music in the movie was just great.
Smooth.
Yeah. Honestly, jazz underrated as obviously not underrated, but utilized in movies.
Facts.
And underappreciated by our generation. I agree with
Absolutely.
you. Yeah,
what do they call it when they're just on the stage and they're kind of like freestyling?
Improvisation.
Improvisation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It is.
You gotta be really talented to do that.
And he was he was delving into, I don't even know if that, I mean, whatever you want to call it, you can call the 22 running her hand along the railing jazz.
Right.
But like, it wasn't even like jazzy when he gets into those like dreamy notes, but it's just so beautiful. And he's like,
right,
more classical almost.
Yeah, he's just going like and just like contemporary, like his own shit. He's just
kind of reminds me of the scene in Ratatouille when they take the bite of the cheese
Yo,
and the strawberry, real. And it's like you transport into like the symphony of just like
he's in the,
sounds and like color and like
that was how Remy got into the zone.
Right, it was just like the sensory like overload, but like in a good way.
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
The zone. I liked when one of my favorite parts of the movie was when 22 was showing Joe the zone.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the zone like in the box? And she throws a rock, and it's the Knicks.
Oh, yeah,
and they got him out of the zone.
She's like, "Oh, here, I've been messing with this team for decades."
No, I love that little shot.
And the Doris Burke, who got she was credited in this for saying this line, but she's like, "And the Knicks lose yet again."
Again. That was Doris Burke. I
saw her in the credits at the end.
Okay,
so it's pretty cool. I like Doris Burke.
I thought you were gonna say, although that's also one of my favorite parts. When they free the hedge fund manager he's like a lost soul underneath the zone, because that was really cool. Because like it's so true where you can get really into something and you get in a flow state and it's like amazing for you, but then if you get too far into it, then you fall down into like that dark place of obsession and addiction.
You stop appreciating life. Probably it's kind of how Joe was. I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think Joe was honestly headed towards that, and I mean,
the zone, like they say, is not too far from being lost.
And it's funny too.
You want to be in the zone, but not the abyss.
Yeah, don't toe the line or toe the line, but stay on the right side of it
because you're too much in the zone.
True.
Which he does to 22 a little bit, which is kind of interesting.
But then they like there's that lost soul, and he's like, make a trade, make a trade, make a trade. And I always thought that it was some loser just playing like fantasy football. But then like they go to the hedge fund manager and he's like making those trades.
Right.
And then he's like, wait a second. He just destroys all the computers.
Well, you know what's funny too? I was just kind of thinking about a little bit earlier today, not even watching the movie. I was just kind of like driving. I think I was getting coffee before starting my work for the day. And I was just thinking, it's like so often, and like we were saying earlier, but so often are we consumed with this idea of how am I going to make money and how am I going to make it big, or not even make it big, but just like make it to a secure point, financially, because that's how as a society we're set up.
Future anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I mean, this movie highlights that like tremendously, where you see with the hedge fund manager, it's like, you can grind your whole life to make money, and like that could be a priority of yours, but you'll be so unfulfilled by the end of the day, at the end of your life. There's so much more to life than making money, and obviously that's an unavoidable part of life that just needs to happen.
Money is a means,
but exactly. Perfect way to describe it. It's like you don't need to make millions to be happy, and it starts with being happy, and then hopefully you make millions along with that, but don't necessarily need to get to that point.
I think a lot of people, going off what you're saying, they correlate materialism with like happiness. With happiness, and
wealth isn't having the most money.
Right.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, if I get this car, this new like Tesla or something, I'll be happy. And then they get the Tesla and they're not happy. And they're doing better and better at their job, and they're making like maybe $200K, like a lot of money, like crazy. They have a Tesla, they have a nice house.
You're doing great.
They have maybe like multiple houses, going on vacations all the time, doing all this crazy stuff. But
maybe you haven't sat with yourself alone in 25 years.
Yeah, really gave yourself a thought,
Yeah.
Also, they have to keep on grinding because they're buying more expensive things, so they're just paying more and more bills. If they just made money and just appreciate what they had and didn't like prioritize getting the next best materialistic thing,
right?
They could have their money. The money could just not be a factor. They could just have the things that they have, and then not buy more stuff and just pay more bills their entire life. Yeah, they have more freedom. I think
you gotta strive to achieve things in life, but you also gotta know to slow down and be grateful for what you have.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's also important.
You don't want to spend your life paying bills.
Exactly. Yeah. You definitely don't want to spend your whole life paying bills, because then, like, at the end of the day, you're just be constantly stressed. That sucks. Yeah, I think you definitely need to take a moment, slow down.
Pay your bills so you don't go into debt.
Do that too.
Definitely make sure bills. Buy like less nice.
Yes, buy less things.
Live below your standard.
Have lower bills.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think also it's too like it's the people around you that play a big role in your happiness.